Hello everybody, welcome back to Sure by Dabbles. I'm your host, Sure by. In an attempt to be extremely cool, I made a little joke in my last video about setting up the periphery and trying to make it aesthetically pleasing, and by the end I had to push everything out of the way. So we're gonna see how far this goes. I should like put a piece of washi tape right at the bottom here so I'm telling you, one day I'm gonna be so professional you will be like the OGs who saw all of my learning in progress. Pretty exciting. So anyways, I am back in my son's room. It kind of looks cool from my view, actually. There's a skateboard against the wall over there. We have our fun succulent with the mustache vase. I have a moon. I don't know, do you see any other planner tube folks with a moon in their setup? Of course, I have my cousin. We are going to go through a July flip through. It's 8 o'clock at night. I have a very busy weekend ahead of me. It may be days before I am able to do the editing for this. We have a gig tomorrow, and then we're staying with friends in their cabin, and then I'm probably going to be exhausted, but I do kind of like sitting on the couch. I edit all the videos on my phone. I have my fake coffee with You're Doing Great mug. I'm going to forget that it's there by the end, so I just wanted one sip before I have to heat it up. So lately I have been using this Uniball P pen, or Uniball 1, and the packaging did say P on it. I love this, and I got a 2-pack for $15, but I did find them on AliExpress for $4, and I just wanted you to know that that's what that is. Let's take a look at the at my cousin. So I took it out of the case. It was getting kind of floppy in the case. It wasn't staying in the pocket on the inside. So I did take it out, and I gotta say, I really like it outside of a cover. I like covers. I think they're fun. I love the idea of pockets with stickers that you can easily reach, but I do have this little doodad, which I got years ago when I was doing a lot of travel notebook stuff. I was making my own inserts. I was even making my own traveler's notebook. And I had a whole bunch of these that I picked up from the scrapbooking section and put one in here. And this is pretty good for holding. I don't hold a lot of stickers because really I don't use many that would be repetitive, except this yoga one. Back in January, you might remember, like this was going to be my year for yoga. Then I got COVID and it slipped away. It just slipped away. This is a book that my friend wrote, Crystal Oakman. If you wanted to get it, it's called The Imprint. Very, very fascinating stuff. I got some cool new washi from Temu, actually. Lots of glittery foily stuff. So last time I said I don't decorate the inside, but I saw so many people doing it that I was like, let me just put some stuff on there. I like making it fat. So I'm trying to fatten her up a smidge. Inside pages, I added some stickers here. These are from the Heifer Society. My mother donates as a Christmas present. She donates money in our names every year, so I get their return address stickers. And I did decide to put my name in there because I was like, oh my God, imagine this disappeared. They would know everything about me except my name. That would be so bizarre. So I made sure I put it in the inside of the book, a picture of me and my son from Christmas 5 years ago. I decided on this section, which I was not using, to put the days off that I have each year. I just realized, yes, I did start recording. All right, great. We're doing great. You're right. So the days that I have off in the year, which is the blue, they're not as many as I actually thought that there were. And then the green are all the days that I have my son. This is our schedule for this year and next year, so that when I have a gig or I'm making appointments or I want to take him away at some point for a weekend, I look at this. Not that you need to know all that. I was using this very much like a year at a glance of all my appointments, things that we were doing, any big things that happened. Like I said in my June flip through, June felt crazy and stressful, and I kind of fell off the everyday look at what I'm doing and do it right and be consistent thing, so that now I mostly am marking off my workouts and yoga, very big events. It is September, can you believe it? Places now where I keep notes. So here I wrote and indexed in July all the things I did on the pages that were blank, with stuff that I had already filled in, like future filled in. All the other blank things, I kind of wrote what I did on that daily page. I really like this idea. And in September, I don't have it written here because in August, because most of these are just daily pages. It's super fascinating. You guys, I can't wait to get to these 2 months of my flip through and for you to see what I'm doing before December hits, because I'm hoping that I can inspire you to do something, or you can find something that inspires you for your planners. And I do say planners because I'm sure that many of us have more than one. Oh my God, wait until you guys see what I have ready for 2025 or have planned. It is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So we're going to go through everything that I have here. But look what I said, facepalm, LOL. These are June indexing. Okay, so this is everything I did in June. Under July, mistakes happen, embrace it. It makes it more beautiful. So obviously July is going to go unindexed. It's just going to be a big guessing game there. Let's go into our monthlies. Let me get to, I didn't prep my pages for the right month, so please bear with me. I was just inspired at 8 o'clock at night. We just got back from a birthday dinner and I just knew I wasn't going to get to this any sooner. Some random stickers. I like the stickers around the edges, you know, and just general planning. I was keeping all of our home delivery food things highlighted in blue because I was juggling a few. But these are just dates, things that we're doing. Sometimes I will put big things in there, but there really isn't anything in here like an event, not an event, a happening, an important memory type thing. Didn't really put it in here this time. There just wasn't really anything of significance. So I do use my monthlies pretty generally like that, and I do think I'll do a how I used my Hobonichi the first 6 months, and then how I used it the second 6 months, because it does change a bit. Here's a little sneak peek at August. The page that is in the middle, before we get to weeklies, no, is there one? Nope, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's after weeklies. So let's go right into the weeklies. So here's July 1 on a Monday. Don't you just love it when things work out that way? I was doing my tracking over here for reading, exercise, fiber, and protein. I believe I explained last time, you see F and P up at the top here. I decided instead of counting calories, I wanted to count my fiber and protein intake, striving for 25 grams minimum of fiber and 65 grams minimum of protein. If I hit it, it gets an X. These days, it may happen during this month. If I don't hit it, I write in the number that I did get. I also was trying to put books in here that I was either reading or listening to. So I finished The Bone Season. I finished Between the World and Me. I started The Mime Order, which is the second book for Bone Season. And I started The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store on audiobook. So Between the World and Me and Heaven and Earth Grocery Store, both audiobooks. Like I said, I drive my son to school in the mornings, and it's kind of a long drive, almost an hour. And while I don't listen on the way there, I do on the way back. And I really do prefer listening to books. I like it. Not in general. I love reading books. I prefer reading books, but I mean in the car, I prefer listening to them over listening to the radio, which is funny because I play guitar and sing. So it all depends on my mood, I guess. Because I want to make sure I have stuff to put in my planner, I always start with coffee. Tuesdays I have to go into the office, so it's a huge scramble, and I drink in the car. Planner talk with coworker, I believe that we saw that last month as well. Read over lunch, went to the chiropractor. I was watching Shetland in July. Oh my God, what a great show. I miss it already. Reading on the patio. I love reading outside when there are no freaking mosquitoes, because they were insane this year. This night we made pesto salmon and turmeric carrots. I was knitting while watching more Shetland. Typically this is, during lunch I would do that, and we watched some Resident Alien. Let's see if there's anything else that's fun here. I got some therapy, ate some leftovers, Antiques Roadshow. These stickers, all these flowers, are from a packet I got at Michael's that was just straight up flowers, a big booklet. They're about $7 a piece. This is a piece of washi, this argyle pattern back here. It came in little books that I think you can get on Temu, about this big, and a friend gifted me a bunch of the packs, and this was from one that was, I think, Bohemian Patterns. And I really did like putting this washi out, and you can write on it very well. For instance, let me take out this fancy dancy pen. Love it. My ears feel nuts. I think that I was still getting over being sick from the previous month. I had a gig, I think the week prior, and I told you guys that I just did my best. I felt like shit, and it was only a 1 hour gig, thank goodness. but I did my best. And then I was like, I'm ready to chill. But this was a sickness that just lasted for anything. See anything that floats. This is a great event in our town. This is July 4th. You basically duct tape a boat together and you get out on this little lake called Children's Lake, and you start with one person on the vessel, and then 2 people and 3 people, 4 people, all the way up to 10 people per vessel, and you race each other, and it is hysterical to watch as you go further along. There were people with instruments, they had pets on there. It was fabulous. Their costumes were amazing. I hope my son does it someday, to be honest, and I get to be on his team. Again, I just use this to track what I'm doing that day. Let's see, we worked on some new songs. Oh, I wrote a new song, and this month we're working on it more, and it's called Echoes. It was inspired by my sister's time in the hospital and what it must be like for people with demons and trying to chase those demons away. One of the lines in it says, there's echoes screaming for eternity saying, hey, what about me? I really love this song. I think this song is going to bring our band in a different direction. It's pretty fun. Did some more knitting during Shetland. I love watching shows with cold themes because it inspires me to knit more. And I just like writing, what I did that day with my friend. And I introduced the new song Echoes to Phil. So this was his first day hearing it, was July 7th. So about a month and 3 days after my sister went in the hospital. You saw in my June flip through that I was working on words that I could use to go with it. And it turns out that I didn't use many of those words. Songwriting is a whole new game versus short stories. I love how you have to just condense so much feeling into a few lines. It's pretty cool. I love these stickers. I got these from Temu. Next page, I love these. I just love stickers of the people, and I did like a little bit of an outline, like an aura, if you will, around them. I have a pack of reading stickers. These are Matisse, Don't Believe Everything You Think. This is my work. Here's a Grow with Joe workouts, because I was still working. I started, my reading. The Bone Season series was just so good. So I finished the mime order and I started the song Rising, same series. My mother gave me the first book years ago, and it just had been on my shelf and I was inspired to read it. And my gosh, I just got sucked in. So reading, tracker still, exercise, tracking each day of the week, fiber, and I had my goal at 30 and protein 65. And now you can see I'm writing in what my actual fiber intake was for that day. So I didn't do Wednesday, but I have it written up here. It was 25 on the nose. So here, I ate my fiber that day. Go me. Amazing. And even though I have it written in here, obviously it's easier to see it here. In the future, I think I'm going to have one big tracker for the whole year or the whole month, but I'm not sure. I kind of like rewriting it each week. I feel like it keeps me on point every single week, whereas if it's one thing on another page, it might not feel as much a priority to me. So I finished the mime order, read before I went to work, sweat during lunch. I was doing Grow with Joe workouts. I also do a lot of Olivia Lawson workouts, and I discovered some shadow boxing workouts. Before COVID, I was boxing probably 4 days a week with the title gym, and I loved it. 3 weeks after COVID and in lockdown, I had a crying fit in the patio because I was not feeling right not doing it. So that was fascinating. We practiced the new song Echoes, still doing Shetland. I am trying to put together a health journal. I discovered Planner Test Designs, and they have a weekly, and the layout in there is insane. So I copied it. Now, the book is about the same size as this from what I gather, but they must have a bigger grid, and I copied it into here. I think I'm going to get one, you guys, just for health planning. I don't know, but I also have spending and wish list in here. We'll get to that as we get closer to the year, but it's fun going back and seeing the buildup of the things that are important to me that I want to track. So I read the song Rising. Phil is setting up the sitting area early. What does that mean? Oh, because we had bluegrass in the grass that day at Dickinson College. Bluegrass bands from all over the country come to this event every year, and we go every year, and we sit in the lawn and we just listen to bluegrass all day. It's really, really such a good time. Film to flip through. Had breakfast, bluegrass on the grass. Then we go and hang out with friends. Phil was in bed by 9. It's a long day. Let's see things that Phil had done that day, what we did that day. Really, I just like this. We started Gangs in New York, and then I read some, and we're going to finish the movie later. It's very rare that Phil and I finish a movie in one night. He's kind of a lightweight when it comes to movies. That's so funny. And I think it took us days. Yeah, finish Gangs in New York this following Wednesday. Love this sticker. I'm glad I finally used it. So here I'm doing it just each one on its own. So read, exercise, fiber, and protein. And again, look at this. That Friday, I only got 7 grams of fiber. When I was counting calories, I said this in June too, I went backwards in my calorie counter when I decided to do fiber and protein instead, and I calculated or recorded the fiber and protein I was eating when just counting calories. It was dismal. It was absolutely dismal. So I like this better because I'm focusing on what's good for me rather than focusing on calories that could be bad for me, that I'm going to go over, etc. So this is just so much better for me. Was finally seeing my new doctor, so got some blood work done this day. I like this book sticker so much. This is a sticker. It's a dream catcher. It's a washi sticker. I'm so glad there are wise people out there to tell me what type of stickers these are. I like the mushrooms. This is from a vintage sticker pack on Amazon. This just fabulous, right? I love them. Just love them. Went to the office on this day. I went to the chiropractor, but I worked from home. I was supposed to go to the office that day, but didn't. Sleepy. I was starting to have just 1 cup of coffee, and then following that would be my fake coffee, which is called Inka, I-N-K-A. It has protein and fiber in it. It's already kind of cold. I put my collagen and protein powder, or not protein powder, I don't use protein powder, though collagen is sort of in its way. Collagen and Benefiber. Get that Benefiber, girls. It's helpful. And I put it in there, and it kind of gives the coffee a little bit more consistency. The coffee. My son and I were watching The Boys, and I put in here, so much violence. That's funny. And I forgot to change my guitar strings. Coffee work, watching The Boys, binged with Oshin during lunch, got some tacos, went out with friends, and my partner and I have started going to breakfast at the Hamilton because our favorite place closed. Then I must have had Oshin, so more of The Boys with my dude. And then we had a Big Hill gig, and we were so excited for this gig, you guys. This is Big Hill Cider Works. It's a fabulous venue. They have a beautiful stage with a truck in the background. I'm going to try to put a picture, one of my promo pictures up here to show you. And we were going to play on that stage, and we were so stoked, but it looked like it was going to rain. And we set up on the stage, and then we looked at the radar, and we said, oh, we better just get under some protection. So we moved. Didn't rain at all, of course, but it is what it is. I really hope that we can go do that again. Coffee, bagel, Aldi and Ulta. I did some painting, yay! And then we went to go see friends of ours in a band called Cumberland Shakedown at the Summer in the Park series. Dinner. Now, I showed you briefly that last week in June, was it the last week or the week before, when I didn't use any stickers. I just used different color pens. So little stress, you know, so little stress. And this is kind of very similar. I used just a regular pen, and then it wasn't until later, maybe a week or 2 later, I just went back with some midliners and highlighters, just highlighted some things because it just gives it a little oomph, you know. Steak night, we must have had a gig that day. I do like highlighting just a few things like this, you know. It's kind of like making your own stickers. Was reading the Dawn Chorus on the Merits of Unnaturalness, and I started The Mask Falling. Dawn Chorus and Merits of Unnaturalness were novellas, so I kind of feel like it's cheating when I put them on my books read list, but I did because I still wanted to record them. But you'll see in the back when I show you my 100 that I try to share a line, you know, like I still wanted to record you, but yeah. This is from a great little sticker set I have called The World is a Book, and Those Who Do Not Travel Read Only One Page, which is ironic because I am not a big traveler, although we travel around to different towns and do day trips, so surely that counts. We had a gig. And then I took half a day this day. I think I was just stressed. I think I was just exhausted and feeling burnt out. So I took a half day and watched some Vera because I finished Shetland, and Vera is also very cool. I just love her whole vibe. Like at first it's like, man, she's mean, you know, but now it's like her face, something about her pragmatism and her, you know, and like, it's okay, pet, you know, the kind of stuff. It tickles me and it reminds me of my own mother. I just love it so much. My son and I watched Uncut Gems. Dudes, this movie was like a constant panic attack. It was, ugh, if my son didn't want to watch it so bad, I would just turn it off because it was so like, I don't need to feel like that voluntarily. I can feel that enough without wanting to feel that way. And here I was just giving my energy and heart rate over to this movie. It was very well done, you know, but it is definitely not a movie I need to see twice. But it was great. We also watched Dream Scenario, which was a fabulous movie with Nicolas Cage. I thought that was really, really kind of fun. I said workout talk with kiddo. I guess we talked about working out. Oh, we went to a summer art event. I bought some yarn. I rarely will buy yarn because I still have like 2 huge plastic totes full of yarn that I bought at festivals back when I decided the only yarn I'm going to buy is going to be from festivals. So that kept me from shopping at, you know, box stores, and now I consider art shows festivals. And I just really, I'm hoping 2025 I'm going to get back to knitting more. I used to constantly knit. I'd be standing in line at the grocery store knitting socks. It's crazy, and I just haven't as much. Phil and I watched a hologram for the king. Anyways, we are at the last bit of July. I got my exercise, my fiber, my protein. By this point, I'm reading every day. I don't need to track it. Reading is just back to being my jam. I built that habit back up again. I am pleased. In the beginning of 2023, I wanted to read more books, so I read about 25 books last year, and already this year I'm up to about 30. If you don't include those novellas, or you put all 3 of those novellas as one, then I'm more like 27, 28. So still pretty pleased. This is some of that washi, a sticker I don't use very often. Back in June when things slowed down, I just plastered random stickers on the page for like a few weeks in advance. And when the time came to writing it, I kind of regretted doing that, but it is what it is. Yeah, so that's what it is. Let's see, what do we got here? Do we have anything fun? Oh, put some cornrows in my nephew's hair. And then I need to eat my digestive enzymes because I had a peanut butter chocolate chia pudding. It was like overnight oats, not pudding. It's an overnight oats thing that they make at work. And the fiber content was great, the protein content was great, but I would feel sick after. I later found out it's because they put cream cheese in it, and that is not what I was expecting. So no wonder why I would feel sick. So I don't get that anymore, unfortunately. Let's see. It's weird doing this like at 8 o'clock at night. It's weird. I have had such a great time the last month talking to you guys about planners and seeing great comments on my videos, and I just wish that I didn't have to work so that I could do more. There's so many things I want to tell you now that the flip through was like, let me just hurry up and get through it so that I can show you and talk about all these other things I'm doing. But it's like my brain is stuck on following a plan, following a purpose. So I took some random stickers and plopped them on here. This lady I was never going to use on a page. And I don't know why. I think I kind of try to align this with my mood, and I just don't have that kind of a mood. Does that even make sense? So it's in here. I bought some axolotl stickers from Temu because they were so adorable and cute. This is from a washi sticker pack I also got from Temu, and I just love the sticker pack. It's all like coffee type stuff. I can't wait to show you this later, guys. Axolotl here. This is a I don't know if I had gone over this before. You write the word, I wrote Sherbai, and then in each space you do this Zentangle thing, and it comes out looking different. So here's Phil and here's Sherbai. And this is kind of, I would like to call it practicing, but I have Tombow markers, right? The brush pens. I see people using these brush pens and creating this beautiful script. And I'm like, there's got to be a way to do it. So I looked at a couple of things. I couldn't watch videos because at the time I was multitasking. I was watching something, I was talking to my son, and I was looking up how to use brush pens properly. So I only went by writing direction and, you know, where they show you a picture and then another picture, etc. I'm left-handed. I don't know if that's part of the issue here. I try to do the like go up, go down. It's not, it is not working. It looks, I don't know what the heck. I'm gonna have to watch some actual videos and practice some brush pens. But this is more like, this is just crap page. I thought it would be extra tracking for each month of things that I want to track, but it's not, obviously. Bigger goals for peace of mind. I didn't even finish the first month, and that's when we're most inspired. So that's all right. That's all right. So let's get into the dailies, the beginning of July. So when we went through June, I had let you know that I went into July and I randomly put stickers on all of the pages in July. And then later, there were so many blanks, I went back and covered the date up so that I could fill them. There were so many blanks. Let me rephrase. All of July was blank except for the stickers I randomly put in. So then I went back with all of my supplies and tried to make them look a little more cohesive and a little bit more intentional. And I'm pretty pleased with how a lot of these turned out. So I'm actually excited to share this. On this page, I see a lot of people on Hobonichi groups wonder what you do on this page. This encapsulates the whole month for me. Big things. If I want to see my whole month at a glance of what I've done, I look here. So we had a steak night gig. Kevin played with Mary at Hook and Flask open mic. I exercised for 479 minutes, but some weren't that long. I just forgot to turn my watch off because hello, surprise. And I did 12 workout sessions. I would love to do 15, but I'm very happy with 12, honestly. My ears were recovering. Ouch and whoosh. It was like they were constantly clogged. There was pain. There was tinnitus. It was like a fan in it constantly. My loves and I went on a hike on the Appalachian Trail. Did I not point that out in my weeks? That was really fun. We were just inspired. We don't live very far from a trailhead, and we were just really excited to go do that together. We had done it once during COVID, and we didn't do it any other time after that. It had to have been on a weekend, right? I can't believe I didn't highlight it even bigger. It was like such a fun thing for us. I have to go back later and see what day it was because I just love that we did that, you know. Phil doesn't exercise. He's just one of those guys who always looks like he exercises, but really he's just mowing the lawn and doing yard work and never sits down. So anyway, that's cool. Like, look, you can still be surprised by your own memories. And then other friends did an open mic together. I started doing Olivia Lawson workouts and loved them. My son got a haircut, another gig. My sister did have to go back to the hospital for 3 days. She hadn't quite yet admitted to me that she was probably drinking again, but given the treatment that she needed, I sussed that out for myself. And it was also her birthday. We had a birthday party for her before the hospital thing happened, and oh, it was so nice to see her. I discovered that ab-focused workouts bring the pain back that I struggled with last fall, so I am no longer doing anything that requires I lay on a mat. And I wrote a new song, and I finished Between the World and Me. Didn't I put the other? Yeah, I read the Bone Season series, books 1, 2, 3, and I started book 4, and I believe I read the novellas during this time. I had to backfill that sectioning because I was like, oh yeah, I didn't put my books in. And knitting, I did do a bit more knitting, so that's pretty fun. So here are some considerations for YouTube videos. I have years of Moleskines because that's what I journaled in for ages. So I was thinking that, you know, voyeurs of words on pages edge to edge might really like to go through my notebooks with me. I wouldn't really censor them. I think I put in here anybody, what does it say? Anybody nosy enough or desperate enough to pause every page and wrestle with all of the translations in my notebooks can basically have at it. because I like, good on you for putting in the effort, you know. And then I was just talking about some other planner things that I could be doing, because I definitely want to have one for my son. This is just journaling stuff. It was really like no writing prompt here. I cut out some of the strip that comes with it's this thing, this life is present thing. I cut some out and put them in here because they're kind of cute and fun. And again, like, I was trying to make them match up, and it just says, oh, paper, how I love you, which is true. Facts. So also journaling. Hobonichi experience, and I wrote it on August 31st. So if you get upset with yourself for not filling in your dailies, keep them blank, add some decoration around them, and you might find later that you actually are in the mood to write. And if you did keep up with them daily, you wouldn't have a page to have written on. So look, past you was helping future you. And so I just, you know, filled in some writing. I think I did a good job with these stickers matching up, you know, and adding different washi options and other things I just had in my stash. So that's pretty fun. Then I said, oh, our friends were over and I could feel fall in the air, and we put a fire out in the backyard, and I got to wear my Vermont flannel, and it just felt like freshness, like fall. So amazing. Like fall was here, fall was back, and I just loved it. I was missing my little dude, and everybody was still out at the fire when I came in and decided to write this in here. And I think it was that night I went upstairs to turn off, no, it was September 7th, my friend's birthday, so it wasn't that night. I went upstairs to turn off everything in my office, and Phil had left this for me in a cup where I keep pens, and it says, you want to know something? And then you flip it over and it says, I love you, the end, with an I. And yeah, so that was pretty fun. This was about being on the patio, and it was my friend's birthday, and I said there were no bugs and I could wear my flannel, and I was super happy. I was just loving the cooler weather. These were ideas for notebooks I want to use in 2025. So ideas I like for the cousin when another planner keeps the calendar, because I'm thinking that I might keep a week's to keep track of everything. My ideas are that for work, I could just get a blank A5 Hobonichi TRP notebook, and I can draw my grids. I'm going to do a whole video about how I keep my work notebook. I could draw it in myself, which is what I currently already do, but the paper would be better. I just was hoping to avoid drawing things in myself, but part of that's fun, part of it's not. I don't know. I could use the monthlies for daily gratitude. I could use the monthlies to track a highlight of the day, but then again, like, it says you don't necessarily have to have a highlight. So there's a woman on YouTube named, I never know how to say this name. It's embarrassing. Rhiannon, 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 and I watch her channel, and I said, go to her monthlies to see what I mean. Book stickers for finished books. I could get some of those to put in the weekly sections, though I do like playing in the weeklies still. I don't think I want to get rid of how I do my weeklies. I love the idea of returning to a reading journal to track passages, because I have one of those in an A5 book, and I actually have picked it up since to do that. The back pages of a Sterling could be used for that, because it has like 300 plus pages, or even a cousin. But my cousin wouldn't be consistent, because some days I really do like just playing in my cousin in the back pages, and I like being random, but it can all fall where it falls instead of on dated pages that are specific. And then I have, in the weeks, I would do a calendar and functional planning. I love the idea of a second one or back pages for all my tracking. And this is before I discovered that I could have one that is entirely for health planning. And then I put here that I love having a book for my son's things, like assignments. Back pages can be used for assignments too, such as the back pages of a Sterling ink. So I could just keep a section. I really obviously want to have a Sterling ink, but it has 300 plus pages in the back. And I'm thinking that I could use the back pages to help track my son's things. But I don't know. I don't want to do that either. I still haven't finalized anything yet, but I like that I have started drawing things out much earlier than I have in the past, which would happen in December. This was just a Zentangle fun doodad I did, and I put a little pig in it. And if I didn't cover the date up, that means that I did it on that day. If I didn't do it on that day, I covered the date up with washi or something. So I did some journaling here. This is my sister's birthday. I was not feeling well, but I did have everybody come over, and Phil was gone. He was visiting his daughter in New York, and I just put some notes about what people did and what I got my sister for her birthday. It was really nice. It really was. So yeah. And the next day, I just went to the office that day, and this was the first night, this Tuesday to Wednesday was the first night since Phil and I have been together that I slept by myself in the house. And it's kind of like a bigger house to me, but I freaking loved it. Like back when I was single for a long time, and then I had my own house before we merged homes, and I slept with probably 8 pillows. I just love pillows. Me and my mother are like that in the same way. I love pillows. I love good crispy sheets. I love linen sheets. I will spend money on sheets, you know. And with him gone, I just got to have all the pillows on the bed. It was miraculous and lovely. I just loved it. So I did start taking some notes of the book I was reading. I started reading the Jenny Han series, and this was August and September. So you're actually getting like future glimpses of stuff that you'll eventually see in the weeklies, but that's okay. Like you have permission to do these things, you know? And I loved the series. It was To All the Boys I've Loved Before, P.S. I Still Love You, Love Always and Forever, Lara Jean. And all 3 of these books are a character named Lara Jean in high school, progressing through them and establishing like relationships and changes in her family. It was such a sweet series. I hope my son reads them, honestly. I don't think he ever will, but I want to hope. When I take notes for reading, I always record the first line and the last line. So I did that for each book. I could have put it in my reading book that I mentioned earlier, but I wasn't quite ready to. I was still using up pages in here. And I was just finishing Love Always and Forever, Lara Jean, and I wrote some passages I really liked that kind of resonated with me. So like, families shrink and expand. All you can really do is be glad for it, glad for each other for as long as you have each other. And you can't protect him from being hurt, babe, no matter what you do. Being vulnerable, letting people in, getting hurt, it's all part of being in love. And we're still here, it's not the future yet. I love the we're still here, it's not the future yet, because I have those shower conversations where suddenly I find myself angry and Phil didn't do anything except wait for me to, you know, go down and have breakfast with him. You can have this entire scenario play out. You know, like, you ever have somebody have a dream where you do something wrong and they just like treat you like crap the next day, and you're like, what the hell's happening here? Like, you know, that kind of a thing. You gotta be careful about that. I really loved these books. They capture how I felt in high school about love and whimsy, but with all the practicality I didn't have. Less obsessiveness too. Was I a hot mess when it came to being in love in high school? Just loved them. Someday maybe I'll go through my high school poetry books. Would you guys like that? I have 3 books where I wrote poetry in high school. They are so cheesy. They are so terribly corny. I mean, if nobody's offended, I could just grab a glass of wine and we could do a live video of reading my poetry. Would that be ridiculous, but also like kind of fun? I could get one of my girlfriends to be with me, maybe. It would be like a little podcast going over my poetry. If I was really good at accents, I would say I could read them in a British accent, because I tried to do that at a party once, like 20 years ago, and it was a riot. It was a total riot. All right, anyway. Okay, here we go. Next page. Bastards. Mosquitoes suck. I wanted to be outside so bad, and these mosquitoes were just so intense. It was absolutely impossible. So that wasn't going to happen. Again, we're back to a day where I wrote it on this day, because I did not cover the date up top. And I'm pleased with how I was making things kind of work with the stickers, so that's fun. Painted today, could paste it in here, we shall see. Ooh, I'll have to find out what it was I painted and maybe put it in, because I do want to start adding more ephemera. I want to make it fat, because for 2025 I got an Avec instead of the full cousin, and I would love to make those things super fat. I didn't bring it up here. I still have to show you guys the journal I had in high school in my first year of college, first month really. It's so huge. I posted postcards, everything. So a little journaling about that day. This is my band Sherby Trio. Up here it says you say it Sherby, because everybody sees this and says Sherby, but that's not how you say it. And it matched the color scheme, so I just slapped it in there. There, used a page. We're almost done. More ideas. So in short, weeks formats for decluttering. I want to discuss this with you guys. Tell me what you think. I'm thinking that I could use a weeks to slowly but surely eat away at the shit that is all over, like that has followed me everywhere, that I don't need. I have a problem with getting rid of things I spent money on, no matter how cheap it was, because I think in my head I might need it someday, and this is unnecessary. I don't want to do this. I want to clear things out. I want to have cleaner space. I want everything that is around me to either be beautiful or useful. Other than that, I just don't want to have it. So I'm thinking in 2025 of trying to develop a system using a weeks to help me to get rid of things. Various methods include a 10-minute run through the house with a grocery bag, you know, and you just, in 10 minutes, you have to fill that bag no matter what. I have heard people do a thing where pick 10 things and put it in a box and donate it every single day. Something like that. There's like 1,000 things challenge somewhere, those sorts of things. I still think it's a worthwhile idea. And I also could use a book for writing my second Nitwitch novel. And I did discuss that in the side-by-side comparison when I was going through the Weeks and the Sterling Ink N2H planner. Go check that out. I'll put a link up here where I felt inspired to absolutely get a book to work on my writing again, because I really do love writing. And even if it's not going to be the second novel, I would love to return to my short story writing, because that, I think that I did so much better with short stories than a whole novel. It would be really fun to try anyway. And isn't this just a cute page with all the colors? I thought that was really fun. This one I didn't love so much, but that's fine. And I filled this page in September. And I will show you very quickly what pages I have left. It's like a few pages left in August, but using this format, it has really worked for me. So if you find yourself with blank spaces, go back and decorate them. It makes them a little smaller in the middle, and just use them. And I guess I wrote again on September 13th, because then I say, and also we traveled today, Phil and I. So I wrote about that apparently, and I hadn't doodled in a while, and this woman inspired me with her crown. So I drew a woman with a crown, and that was on the 14th of September. We visited Loveland, Ohio, so I slapped a sticker in there to commemorate it. And we went to a beer fest, and a bee went into my beer. Now, I had been off gluten for several weeks. It had to have been at least 6 or 7 weeks. And that included beer drinking. I switched to like seltzers and ciders, and I don't love them. So I have also definitely been drinking less. But at Beer Fest, I was like, Oktoberfest, I was like, I'm drinking some beer. Dudes, I will never do that again. I definitely should not drink the beer. It did not feel good. I was tired for an entire week and a half afterwards. So the wheat and probably the yeast that's in regular beers, I was just so tired. I couldn't believe that one day made me feel that way for a whole week. So lesson learned. September 15th, I did some journaling in here. I love these stickers. And again, I just randomly had some stickers in there and just tried to make them look a little bit more cohesive. Some of them didn't work. This didn't work. Another day, September 15th. So it looks like I went into both pages here, just journaling. Then we have September 17th, planner talk. So I must be writing. Still thinking about planners and notebooks. One for strictly trackers and events that I can keep on me would be great. That's my downfall with having a planner for health tracking, unless I just use the monthlies for appointments and tracking appointments, but then keep the weeklies, like the planner test weekly, for all the health tracking. And then there's still a lot of back pages to consider. I'm still going through a lot of ideas here. And the cousin for memory keeping all week, and creativity journaling, daily fun, like in the September. My September flip through was going to be fun, you guys. Would be a thing of the past, unless I did that in an A6. But I can't carry it around with me unless I carry a bigger bag. I don't want to carry a bigger bag. I never had these problems when I just used plain paper, but I do seem to be more consistent when I do this. Like I used to just carry a Moleskine book and carry it around, or just like my Midori Traveler's notebook. Someday you guys are going to know my whole setup. I'm going to put it all out there, I promise. And then September 17th, I'm considering using a book to track how I'm spending my time, the way I saw Helen from Coffee Monster Co. do in one of her videos. It's a little book like this, and she would basically write down everything she did throughout the day, separating her breaks. And I think it was just for work, but it was fascinating to see, and I was curious how to do that too. I did do it for about 3 days with work. Inevitably, I would forget though. And what about a work planner? Should I use an A5 full year sterling and use notes pages for learning and goal planning and or GASP education? That beautiful washi, isn't it? Isn't it just so nice? I still haven't decided about work. I think I'm just going to end up drawing my own grids in, unless I can find an Aura Estelle horizontal compact with not so many notes pages in the back. Sterling ink just has too many, and they don't have a compact version for the horizontal notebooks. So this I showed you in a June flip through, was it? You don't always have to have something good or important or meaningful to say to write on a page and use space. You just need a way to get it there. A pen usually works just fine. For instance, I don't like how that looks. And it's true, I still don't. It's fine, but it doesn't matter. The whole point is I use the paper for the paper. And if you use it, it doesn't have to be mind-blowing, you know, just use it. You bought it for you. It's there to serve you. Use it. So let's see. This is interesting. I saw an interview with Stephen King, and he said a book that scared him the most was called Ghost Story. I've started reading Peter Straub's Ghost Story. It's the book he was talking about. And I have a lot of things in my head that make me feel paranoid and panicky sometimes. And this, I could see why a writer would find the book Ghost Story to be terrifying. And I say, could writing my own horror story get me out of my head and help me feel less afraid in the world? Because every day it's like I can't go through the day without some terrifying thought occurring to me that it sets me into a panic mode. But after reading more of the story, I'm like, oh my God, I'm too afraid to put it out on a page. But it does make me wonder, like, is this the curse of writers sometimes, that your imagination is so insane, but when you turn it inward on yourself, it's frightening. But if you turn it outward, it's entertainment and it's separate, and you can recognize the separateness of that world and our world. By the way, I took CDs from my son's room and set them up here with his little moon. Okay. So a quote from the book: the midday restlessness, the feeling that if he did not move, some bad thing would happen. I get that feeling. Like I'll suddenly be sitting down, I'll get a little bit of a panic. I'll start feeling like a panic attack, and it's like I can't sit with a panic attack. I have to move and do stuff because I'm worried if I just sit there and try to deal with it, I'll get struck by lightning or drop dead or something awful will happen. I'm working on this. It's not as bad as it was like a year ago. It was really bad a year ago. Then I did the first writing prompt I had done in a long time. So from Copilot: as the storm raged outside, Marcus found himself drawn to the dusty attic where a forgotten family portrait seemed to whisper his name. And I wrote a short story based on that prompt for these 3 pages. And I do miss writing prompts, so I'm really excited. I think 2025 is going to be a big return to writing year for me. I'm really excited for it. And then we are into August with a way to use blank pages. So I had been using all these pages up. I started this, if you want to see an early glimpse of first lines of all the books that I read that are my paper books, because audiobooks, that would be impossible to do. So it's the first line of every book I've read so far this year. I thought that was really cool. I got the idea, oh man, why didn't I write her name down in here? Well, I got the idea from a YouTuber, and unfortunately I can't offer you her name because past Kristen was not quite so great. You do not have to be responsible for every moment. Just real quick things. So I all of August was like this. Again, this was not written on August 11th. I didn't cover the dates. I stopped doing that. I did write up here like September 21st is when I did that. I just have a couple more pages left to put things in here, and then we will be done, and you can see what I'm doing in September. So let's go to the back pages. This is taking long enough. My pencil board for my delivery. Wahoo! Though I gotta say, this on the inside, that does not help me. I wish it was like here or something. Am I being too picky? I should just be glad that I get to have notebooks, right? So nothing in these pages. I continue to use my budgeting book. Like for this month, I paid these bills. I got check marks next to them. When they come out of my account, I will cross them out. And then this page has not changed since last month, where I put video ideas. I could probably add 1,000 more just from what I said in this video here. And book. Oh, different ideas for different notebooks. Isn't that hysterical? Like, I just want to do more notebook things. And I'm still keeping track of books I have read, the movies I have watched, and the shows that we have completed. And this is where I put all the novellas. I marked them as 3, and I put them all on one line because I just kind of felt like it was cheating for them to take up so much, and I don't want to lose this space. I think it's pretty all right. Like, right, so 76 full contained pieces of media 3/4 of the way through the year. That's pretty all right. We'll see if I even fill that up. Me and my son will have to binge watch the movies one weekend if I have to fill these up around the holidays. That'll be fun. I don't do anything with these pages still, but I think, like, so far I'm pretty pleased with, added a couple more movies with every page being filled, you know. Let's see, what's today? Today's day of the year is 271. Yeah, I worked out yesterday, but I didn't color that in yet. So I'll have to color that in soon. So this is still my workout tracker. The pink is yoga. Clearly not doing regular yoga, but trying. And orange is workouts. And then up here, red would be workout and a walk. Yellow was walk. And then up here, blue was meditate, pink was yoga, and purple was meditation and yoga. And then this circle in this was because I didn't realize that the dailies told you what the day was. So I was trying to count like each month's start. Thank you, YouTube, and you wonderful people for leaving comments and telling me how to do it. That makes me happy. I am not keeping up with my gifts list, and I put a gouache swatch note in here. And then in the back, I have a lot of randomness. Another one of those scrapbook doodads, some post-its that I probably won't use. These are in notebooks I found from years ago, like at least 12 or 13 years ago. I taped in one of these because they're not adhesive for the cousin, and they're meant to go in the back pocket of covers, but I put it here, and you can, so see, you could even just leave it here as a bookmark for the page that you're on. Isn't that the cutest page? I put that as a community post, so it's okay if you see it. And these are the stickers I got for my Hobonichi haul. If you haven't seen my Hobonichi haul video, go take a gander. People enjoyed it. I didn't know unboxings were so awesome, so it gives me an excuse to just get more. And then owls, and John Oliver says hello. He's getting a little faded and worn for having no cover. And that is all I have for you for July. I thought it would take 30 minutes. Clearly I was wrong. We'll see how long it takes me to edit. I am so stoked to see you guys again. I am happy to get to August. I can't wait to show you September, but I'm sure by the time I get to September, I will be like super stoked to show you October. We have a lot of work to do. If you liked any of my ideas in here, tell me what you want to try out. I love the idea of doing a live video with you guys with something, or just going through. I have so many notebooks I could go through. It's a little embarrassing, but if anybody in the world is going to understand, it's you guys. I'm so glad you're here. Peace out, home skillets. I'll talk to you later. Love you. Bye.